participants. I want to express my pleasure in joining you in marking the 2019 World Radio Day. This year's theme of celebrations, dialogue, tolerance and peace, with special focus on the topic of government as a source and subject of media reporting. The 2019 World Radio Day coincides with a time when the Kenyan radio is 92 years old and has been recorded as the media with the highest number of listeners in the country, as has been said by the speakers before me. Radio is amongst the fastest growing medium of information exchange and dissemination in Kenya. Indeed, the fact that the radio has grown from a few stations a few years ago to the current about 179 FM stations is the clearest attestation that most Kenyans rely on radio as a source of information. The government realizes that the effectiveness of Kenya's right to information is dependent on its commitment to effectively implement freedom of information laws, the protection and promotion of these rights. As part of this commitment, the Ministry of ICT last month launched a 15-member task force that will be in charge of improving information and communication functions on government activities concerning social, economic, and political development in the country, and I recognize my chairman, David McCarley, for this task force. The Ministry would like to encourage and support advocacy initiatives both by public agencies like the Media Council, as well as private organizations which may be willing to utilize the diversity of opportunities to advance the right to access information. The media and the public at large should also exercise their rights to know, and by so doing, create a demand to access of information. Ladies and gentlemen, the government is aware that with the increased number of vernacular radio stations, a large listenership at the grassroots level is reached. The fact that these stations broadcast in the vernacular of the target audience provides a unique opportunity to build trust, correcting misperceptions and prejudices, and educating the masses on the values of diversity and peaceful coexistence. It can be used to crowdsource for early warning by publicizing existing avenues for communicating such information. Media promotes peace by affecting knowledge, attitudes, and behavior of a critical mass of people. Similarly, the media promotes peace by providing an information conduit between dissenting groups, thus reducing prejudice and stereotypes between them. In targeting the political elite, media interventions promote peace by placing pressure to move towards a resolution. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, the role played by the media in Kenya in steering the country's political, economic, and social development wheel is great. The media has the key function to inform public opinion and to monitor whether the government is keeping its promises. Radio in particular, and media in general, has for the last 1 decade played a crucial role in advancing democratic governance, reforms, and accountability in the country. It has continued to take a central position in the ongoing political, legal, and constitutional reforms in the country. It is now evident, therefore, that strong, independent, and professional media can make a positive contribution in the much-needed national cohesion and peace building in the country through presentations of diverse opinions, ideas, and discussions on issues of public interest that inform the people in their choice of leaders, both at the national and county governments. Thus, improving professionalism and effectiveness of media practitioners and in strengthening the existing media landscape are crucial pre-election preparatory processes. As a result of the ability to reach and influence large numbers of people, the media is perceived to carry immense power in socialization and shaping the course of people's attitudes and behavior. Fair and accurate journalism and media content that builds confidence and counteracts misperceptions have great potential in security and disaster management. The power of media to influence the cause of conflict, policy, and intervention has been dubbed the CNN effect. This effect creates a triangular relationship between media, government, and the public. The Kenya Vision 2030 identifies access to information as a key enabler of supporting the vision's pillars in attaining wealth creation, social welfare, and international competitiveness. Further, it identifies information technology as one of the key facilitators to deliver the 10% annual economic growth rate envisaged under the economic pillar. To achieve this, transformation of Kenya's media sector to an innovative, focused, independent, and accountable sector is crucial. Article 35 of the Constitution provides that every citizen has the right to access information, and Commissioner Ndumo here is the Access to Information Commissioner at CAJ. And I'm glad she's here with us today. The legislature has gone further and enacted the Access to Information Act 2016 to actualize the provisions of Article 35 of the Constitution, which among other things obliges public institutions like the Media Council of Kenya to proactively disclose information to the public. The government is committed to the proactive disclosure of information and the overall protection of the media to enable them play its rightful role in governance and accountability. Members of the Fourth Estate, we are aware of challenges facing the media, including welfare and working environment, safety concerns by journalists. A number of issues have been raised that need attention. The issue of corruption in media must be addressed and tackled immediately. Corruption has led to loss of credibility amongst journalists and trust from people. We must work to restore this credibility and trust from people, otherwise we will have ourselves to blame. And those things that Omoy was talking about, I think, add to this as well. News from our journalists has become very predictable, where those with power, access, and money influence and dominate our news. The issue of professionalism and adherence to professional ethics as provided for in the law cannot be neglected, as journalists seem to have abandoned their ethics and write stories, to say the least, half-baked news. Our media is full of stories without facts, biased and lacking objectivity. Cases of defamation against the media are on the increase. Article 35 guarantees the right to access to information, where there is a right to access information held by the state and information held by another person and required for the exercise of protection of any right or fundamental freedom. By virtue of being the single source of information in the media, by virtue of being the biggest single source of information to the media, the government is also the most common subject of media reporting. The role of media in disseminating public information often comes under sharp focus during disasters, when the government is rolling out major projects or in the issue of governance and security. While the Access to Information Act 2016 guarantees the public to access government information, media ought to appreciate that there are circumstances where information cannot be published, especially if it affects state security or it is likely to put lives at risk. The government would sometimes decline to supply information if it is the subject of military strategy, intelligence activities, cabinet documents, infringement of privacy. These are just some examples.
It therefore then becomes the duty of the journalists, wherever they are, to make sure that that information is sought, verified, and circulated to the people. So the thin line between guys who want to regulate information and others who want to bring out this critical information is, I think, one of the duties the task force headed by Bonamakali is trying to find out. That in these operations, we have let's call it a respectful discourse. Nobody victimizes the other or attacks the other. As government regulates flow of information, as the media seeks to bring this information to the public, we do not have, let's say, uncivil exchanges, and all that. There's always respect and mutual understanding. I think that is the best way forward. Coming at a point now, I think about 6 years ago, we had less than 40 radios. At this time, as my friend Ambani, who will talk here, will tell us, is that they have licensed more than 180 radios, and at least 170 of them are in operation. Last year we have about 10 which opened for a while and closed for a while because of many other factors. So in a country that has more than 170 radios, you can imagine that radio is a critical medium. And the last time I know anybody did a research, more than 88% of Kenyans have access to radio. Radio leads and really reaches every corner of the country. However, we have a crisis as we mark World Radio Day, where I would say respectfully that we have made radio absolutely shallow. All our radio stations in the morning have very shallow relationship talk. One would wonder whether all Kenyans are bothered about relationships and all that. We have extreme vulgar language. All morning shows in this country, at least 90 of them, are run by comedians comedians, not journalists, so we have no information really flowing. We have entirely reduced radio into an extremely shallow medium that has